This is the worst news that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have received because Mike Tomlin will be returning in 2025 after getting absolutely humiliated by the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore, down 21-zip at halftime. Look at this. Look at the last few times the Steelers have been in the playoffs. They're at halftime. They're just halftime. 21-0 against Baltimore, 21-7 Buffalo, 21-7 Kansas City. By the way, that touchdown was a TJ Watt fumble. It wasn't even the offense. Cleveland 35-10 to Cleveland. That's literally one of their only playoff wins in the past 20 years. The Jags 28-14. Blake Bortles, while you have the Killer Bees. Absolutely pathetic. If it wasn't for him inheriting a crazy team that just came off, recently from winning a Super Bowl, and then he ends up winning the Super Bowl against the Cardinals, he really wouldn't have a job. But every year he goes in, wins his 8, 9, 10 games, at least he's 500. Ownership sees competitive games, sees them competitively, contending for a playoff position, and they think that's enough. But the Steelers are in the worst position in any sports team can be. You're not good enough to win a Super Bowl, and you're not bad enough to be able to get your franchise quarterback. And that is the problem. You're getting rid of Mike Tomlin. I'm not saying you're going to win the Super Bowl next season, but in 3 years you might. You keep Tomlin for 3 years, you're going to be in the same position you were 5 years ago. You're on a 9-year playoff winless drought. You've made the playoffs multiple times, but every time you just get blown out. And it's time for him to get fired. We've seen, the Patriots move on from Bill Belichick, who won them 6 Super Bowls. We've seen, Andy Reid get moved on by the Eagles. But it's time, and this is the Patriots, and this is the Eagles. The Eagles are a great team now since they let go of Andy Reid. The Patriots got their franchise quarterback, have over $100 million in cap space, have the fourth overall pick. It's looking good in New England. Meanwhile, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to keep having a mid-fifth first round pick where they can't get a franchise quarterback. They're going to blow the pick like they typically do, because even when a franchise quarterback is in the late rounds like Lamar Jackson, they'll get Terrell Edmonds instead. And you know whose fault it is? This man right here. Now, this is another problem. He let Brian Flores walk for Terrell Austin, who has been awful. He's been given a great defense that Brian Flores would have cooked with, but the problem is Mike Tomlin here loves to meddle in his coordinator's play call, and it gets blown. Against Cincinnati, Arthur Smith, his play call is restricted because he felt that they shouldn't throw the ball like they did when they beat the Bengals the first time around in Cincinnati. They said, no, let's rush it this time, and guess what? They ended up losing, and it cost them a worse seed, and now they got blown out by the Ravens, who instead of playing the Texans, who they could have matched up better against. Absolutely awful from Tomlin again, and it's week in and week out. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in and he extends Russell Wilson because of those 2 late touchdowns he got when it didn't mean anything. Meanwhile, you had Justin Fields, who was 4-2, in the regular season, and loses 2 games in a row, benched right away. And then you got Russell Wilson on a 5-game losing streak, and he never saw the bench. That sounds like good decision making. Doesn't really. Guy is 6-6, or the guy in 4-2. I'm going for the guy 4-2. He's positive, not 6-6. He started playing competitive playoff teams, and he just, Russell Wilson was just a non-factor. Can't escape, pressure out of the pocket. Justin Fields could have, and he's just as accurate downfield. I'll tell you that much. But anyways, that's not the point. If the Steelers want to ever be competitive, they're going to have to get rid of Mike Tomlin, become one of the worst teams for at least a year, get a franchise quarterback, and build from there. Instead, they're just going to waste Minkah Fitzpatrick's prime, TJ Watt, Alex Smith, Patrick Queen, George Pickens, all these stars that they've got, because it doesn't matter, because this is a QB-driven league. It's not a defensive-driven league like it used to be. Rules have changed. The NFL's different, and now if you don't have an X-Factor QB, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. Look at the past, few winners and teams that have made it. You got Jalen Hurts, Purdy, Mahomes. These are all top 5 to 10 quarterbacks. Burrow, Stafford. These are all capable quarterbacks that are able to throw 4,500 yards in a season. Russell Wilson isn't going to throw you 4,500 yards now, maybe 5 years ago, but not now. Instead, we're going to see him get a 3-year extension, you know, because it's Mike Tomlin's boy. He loves those speeches. He's great with words, leader of men like Tomlin. Absolutely pathetic. But anyways, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Do you think Tomlin should come back or should he be fired?